You can hear me from the wind-shrilled mountaintops, with the ghosts of native warriors, tears turning to streams and drying out with the almighty thump of midnight invasions. The long-lost dream, the long-lost reality is scarcely a memory in the minds of useless trivial decisions affecting all but those who make them. You can hear me from the dry grassy plains of the Hume highway, whizzing past that which shall remain for 1, 2, 3, maybe less, before vanishing into the brickwork of urban metaphors. You can hear me jumping for the bridges of the causeway where your two worlds collide and the river snakes swim beside. Police officers oblivious of one side or the other. For all but some, the banks of the Murray separate. You can hear me above the subconscious metaphors for camping and travel and backpacks and hiking boots with sweet young girls dancing around my plateau. And out to the pines where tears are all that can save me from the jailhouse, and the first of Zeus's many daughters to swish before my eyes. You can hear me back up Dean where the bands still play all night and the bikers control the entire flow of humanity from east to west, to north to south, and back again in reverse. You can hear me amidst the scattering and the swish-wash of surface colliding on the southeastern sands. You can hear me on the dry, lonesome bitterness of the Nullabor plain with her signs reading of lack of water and her dingoes staring into my eyes with thirsty, hungry lips, dwindling in the fierce glare as those road trains wreak havoc along the straightness of time. You can hear me amidst the roar of the miners in the town made of bars, that long swift throw of brothels, the seediness, the rape and the rape again. You can hear me on the high and the cappuccino stretch as day yuppies transform into night junkies and the hippies become thieves and thugs with the coming of dusk. You can hear me in the ghostly wind tunnel below the roundhouse with the cages of solitary wanderings and the fear and the blood and the sweat howling through like the poetry of the dead in the city of lost souls. You can hear me back out the other side, with the white sand once stained with blood is now stained with burger wrappers, the golden arches of Western eternity, and I sought to remind those deep-thinking souls about starving Africa. With her disease, our prophet. You can hear me crashing against the rocks of Fremantle Pier and glistening in the evening rays as the doctor strolls on through and the fishermen try to forget the now, bring back memories of her as she was, as she used to be, as she'll never be again. You can hear me amidst the struggle for status, and the class with her miniskirt and her flying blonde hair juxtaposed against the native rage, the might of the Bank West Tower, a reminder of how far we fall and how far we'll fall again. You can hear me from the inner north down to Morley along the desperation of Beaufort Street with the smack whores and junkies at one side, the yuppies and clubbers at the other, the wise old men telling the young stories about 1960s London and Egypt and Vietnam, the jailbirds and schizos crossing paths with the Hare Krishnas with their pots of dal chanting their way from their temple to their home. You can hear me on the night roads. The southwest highways where the glimpses of the ocean's might intertwines with the rampant forest and the purple haze of the western sunset. You can hear me over the Bight, the cliffs restructured and deformed amidst years of ultimate clashing from ocean to land, from white man to black. You can hear me on the border at Euclid where the policemen stroll the bus thoroughfare and leave a cloud of smoke infiltrating the desert sky. You can hear me on the seedy stretch of Hindley Street at night time with the corruption of the wires, self-destructing the hydraulics of Western influence, the glow of poker machines poking through the windows of all-night bars, the grey beards carrying brown paper bags up, down, back up again with harsh looks from strip club bouncers cradling their fall. You can hear me through the carriages of the Indian Pacific roaring her way through the dead of night unheard and unseen by all who know the myth. You can hear me passing by Prentice Prison with her ghosts, her skeletons rising up through the razor wire and giant stone walls. You can hear me from the rooftops of downtown Fitzroy, with her culture fading into the light of day in red, green, brown, blue, purple plastic paper, a symbol of her destruction. You can hear me on the Smith Street transformation, with the junk undertow seething through the cracks where the game parlours become wine lounges and the graffiti turns into stencil art, nestled against the bar with eyes drooping, mistakes whizzing through the inner cabins of my mind. You can hear me back around again, with these thoughts, these memories transforming into ink. The days, the nights becoming shorter and coagulating into the three horizons of what has been and what is still to come. You can hear me at the edge of the era I created, that the movement created before me, and surely, surely, another will again.